Good day, everyone. My name is Anjulia J. Gutierrez, and I'm presenting my FMA1 for DevCom 208. So, first of all, uh, my chosen social marketing or social mobilization program is 1 Billion Rising Philippines. So, what is 1 Billion Rising Philippines? So, 1 Billion Rising or OBR is a global movement that started globally in 2012 and launched in 2013 in the Philippines to end violence against women and girls. So in the Philippines, it's actively led by the Gabriela and other advocacy groups using mass mobilizations, dance protests, which is one of their signature um, activities that they do, and community events to raise awareness of gender based violence. So the campaign emphasizes grassroots participation, and it aims to amplify the voices of the marginalized women, survivors, and activists. So OBR Philippines has tackled issues such as domestic abuse, workplace harassment, and government policies that affect women. So each year it mobilizes thousands through creative activism, uniting Filipinos in the fight for justice, equality, and women's rights. So here are some photos from their website, from recent and past protests and programs that they've led. So here we can clearly see that they're led by the Gabriela in the Philippines, and here are their dance protests, and they have talks and they partner with schools such as UP Baguio. So when did it start? So like I said, the global start was in 2012 and it was launched in 2013 in the Philippines. And the implementing organizations include the Gabriela Women's Party in the Philippines, the 1 Billion Rising Global Movement, and also various grassroots and advocacy groups within the Philippines. So who is the audience for 1 Billion Rising? So their primary audience is really women and girls who are affected by gender-based violence and survivors of domestic abuse, sexual violence, and harassment. Uh, and also their secondary audience include advocacy groups and other feminist organizations, youth and students promoting gender equality, even men and allies supporting women's rights. As I recall, they had an event I believe it was in Bicol, where men and allies were the focus of that event. Government agencies and policymakers, and the general public too. So I really wanted to shed light and choose this topic because um, I've been increasingly made aware of and alarmed by the rising gender-based violence in the Philippines nowadays. I think almost every other day um, new I hear news about children, little girls and women being sexually assaulted, raped, and murdered by people who are supposedly the ones that they are supposed to trust in their life. So I really do believe in the 1 Billion Risings movement in helping address these issues that are becoming prevalent and disturbingly present in our society. So, what are some of their social mobilization activities? So, first, they have mass rallies and dance protests. So, this is part of their public awareness campaigns. They have annual events held every February, such as the Rise for Freedom campaign, where thousands participate in dance protests to raise awareness about violence against women and girls. So, they have a lot of photos and a lot of articles about all of these dance protests that they do all around the Philippines, which is amazing because it's not just grown women who participate, but even children, teenagers, and even men. So they have digital campaigns too. They utilize social media platforms to disseminate information, share survivor stories, and promote events to reach a broader audience. I remember seeing from their website that during the height of the pandemic, they had Zoom events where survivors would share their stories, and they really stayed active all throughout the pandemic. Oops. And they also have media engagement, um, where they collaborate with local media outlets to feature stories, interviews, and discussions on gender-based violence to really amplify the campaign's reach. So they have partnered with Rappler, the Inquirer, the Philippine Daily Inquirer, and Philippine Star, I believe, um, and even the Guardian. So they really have partnered with multiple news outlets to cover some of their events and stories. So like I mentioned earlier, they're very big on creative activism and cultural expression. So um, dance as a protest is really one of their signature activities. So um, they embrace dance as a universal form of expression and protest. So this is exemplified by events like 1 Billion Rising in Marikina, where communities came together to dance and raise awareness. They also have artistic performances where they organize art installations, theater performances, and poetry readings that address themes of gender based violence and empowerment. And they also utilize music and storytelling, hosting musical events and storytelling sessions that highlight survivor narratives and advocate for change. I have a couple of photos here. Here are some. This is Here are some of their that photos from dance protests from recent years. Um, they really hold peaceful rallies as well, and they come together in public spaces where they can be seen and heard. um I believe sorry, I believe this was in Marikina, I think. And here they have publication materials, as you can see, for um online dissemination of the activity, like the Rising Gardens dance protest that they have. And here they have the by speaks criminalization and impunity against indigenous women human rights defenders, which was done through which was done live and also live streamed on Facebook. So we've partnered with other organizations for this. And here we have more dance protests, and this one is for the I think it's a Catholic Women's Association that support 1 Billion Rising as well. So they also have grassroots organ or they also have grassroots connections and community engagement. So they do educational workshops where they conduct seminars and forums in communities to educate individuals about their rights and the importance of fighting gender-based violence. And they also get the youth involved. They do a really good job at including the youth in their initiatives. Like they partner with Gabriela Youth to lead initiatives such as the 1 billion Rising launch at the University of the Philippines, Baguio. I think this happened recently, around February of this year, which fosters a culture of activism among young people. And community collaboration. So they partnered with local groups to organize events and ensure that the campaign resonates at the grassroots level. So they have partnered with um, women from rural areas, from farming lands, and also women from the Catholic Church as well. So, and lastly, they have lobbying efforts for stronger laws and policies that protect women's rights and address gender based violence. So They also do their best to get the government involved. So they work with the with government agencies to implement and enforce policies effectively. And they also do public demonstrations, organizing events to hold policymakers accountable and push for necessary legal reforms. So, like I said, they've partnered with here in this first photo. I think this is ar- I think this is around Rizal. I think this was one of their events from last year, where they partnered with women from farming areas to push for fair rights for women in the rural areas. Um, and here, this is an event from UP where they partnered with UP Baguio. So a lot of young women were able to participate. And they also had an event recently this year in 2025 where 1 billion rising um, was in they went to the Supreme Court of the Philippines, where they also had a dance protest, and um had where some of the Supreme Court justices were able to give speeches as well. And I think this was a great way for 1 billion rising to really get their message across for the um Philippine justice system, and also partner with our lawmakers. So here there's a quote from Associate Justice Joseph Y. Lopez, in which he said, "Justice thrives in silence. By speaking out, we challenge not only individual acts of violence, but also the systems that sustain them. So rising together is the true fight." And for other notable information, they have an annual theme. Each year, 1 Billion Rising Philippines adopts a new theme to address pressing issues related to gender based violence, such as Rise Against Fascism, or Rise Against, or Rise for Freedom. So it changes throughout the years, but always the theme is very timely and also very true to its message. I also have localized movements. So the campaign is actively organized in various cities and provinces, including Metro Manila, Baguio, Cebu, Davao, and Marikina. Marikina, which is still in Metro Manila, to ensure widespread participation. So, if you're interested in learning more about 1 Billion Rising Philippines, their official website is www.1billionrising.org. This is the for the global movement, and for the OBR Philippines events and news, where you can get a lot of information and updates on 1 Billion Rising in the Philippines. We have www.1billionrising.org slash category slash location slash Philippines. So this is mostly where I've sourced my report, and I really found it very useful. And I'm glad that such websites that are always being uh, updated. I'm glad that this exists, because I believe that more people should know about this, and it will really help more women and girls who need a voice in our society. Thank you. Thank you for listening, and have a great day.